Made for Me, Chapter 12. The next morning, Danielle woke at 10, ate oatmeal and toast before taking an hour-long walk on the waterfront. She made it all the way downtown, the tree-lined path providing shade from the increasing heat of the day. The water park wasn't open yet, but the waterside restaurants were, the lines for brunch forming early. At the park, she noticed the upright silver bullets, realizing they were the latrines Stephen and Lonnie had mentioned. Unable to help herself, she entered one, confirming that the inside did indeed look like a spacecraft, complete with needle dispensers and adjustable seats straight out of a movie. The afternoon was spent unpacking and reorganizing her apartment. Catherine, the owner, had indicated she could move the furniture around as she pleased, which she did, adjusting the couch perpendicular to the fireplace towards the water. If one has a view of the lake, one should make the most of it, she thought. Sunday she went for another walk, worked until early afternoon, then went sailboarding. She called her father before she went to bed, telling him about the restaurant. He thought Stars and Stripes was an excellent name and that her mother would be proud. "There is one other thing," Danielle said, waiting until she was sure she had her father's attention. "I actually went out on Friday night." "No kidding. With a man?" "Very funny. And don't even tell me you were expecting it." "Maybe, maybe not." "Okay, fine. It was dancing and it was great. Happy now?" He chuckled. "I'm happy if you are, and that's what matters." Danielle agreed, saying nothing about a sleepover afterward. The second week passed quickly, her routine familiar and fast-paced. She attended 2 meetings with the physical commodities traders and another with the currency specialists. Lars was always present, sitting at the end of the table each time. He managed the sessions efficiently, making a point of making eye contact with each trader. She sat 3 seats away from him, close enough to hear, but far enough not to come across as the overeager new hire. Stephen and Lonnie had thrown themselves into the new venture. They interviewed architects and designers and by Thursday had made a selection. Glenda gave Danielle a recommendation for an attorney, and when he provided partnership paperwork, the 3 signed the contract and she wired 50,000 francs into an escrow account for money distribution in accordance with the contractors' meeting milestones. They decided to hold off making a decision about Andre being an investor for another week, just to see if he displayed any weirdness with Danielle. "It's only prudent," Stephen intoned. Since a dancing excursion, Andre had come into the restaurant twice, ordering takeout both times. He hadn't asked Stephen for her number or brought up her name. She was both gratified and annoyed. By Friday, she realized his low-key approach gave her a sense of relief. They both were busy with work, liked each other, and had hooked up. It was enough. That afternoon, when the week's numbers posted, Danielle surpassed both Ulrich and Johann. With her bag in hand, Glenda came into her office and quietly congratulated her. "It's nice to finally be in a pool that's winning," she said. Danielle immediately understood. Support staff were likely to receive bonuses based on numbers. Glenda wasn't on either Ulrich or Johann's team, and therefore hadn't been benefiting from their previous successes. Ulrich came by her office on the way out, telling her he had no hard feelings. Of course he wouldn't. As a desk leader, he got an override on anything she made. It was free money to him. Johann was nowhere to be found. "You told me momentum was good, and you were right," Lars said from the doorway. Gunmetal gray suit, indigo blue tie, onyx cufflinks. Stunning. And only 2 weeks. She barely paused in her work and gave him a smile she thought David would approve of. "Just call me the tortoise, slow and steady." "Hardly. You are neither short, thick-legged, nor disfigured, with a long, hard nose." His descriptive eloquence caught Danielle completely off guard, and she let out a peal of laughter. "I've never heard you laugh before," he remarked, seemingly pleased he'd humored her. "I've never had a boss tell me I didn't have a long, hard nose before, so thanks for that." She'd never thought she would find him all that funny. Intense and intriguing, yes. Funny, not so much. She adjusted her earphone, taming her smile down a notch. "I'll leave you to your trading. Have a good weekend." Danielle told him to do the same and asked him to be so kind as to shut the door. She shook her head, removing his image as she focused on her numbers. On the ride home, she was daydreaming about dancing when her phone buzzed. It was Lonnie who sighed in frustration. "The universe must be sensing we're closing because suddenly we are busier than we've ever been in months." Danielle was happy to help as she had no plans, other than to take a walk on the waterfront and read more reports, the epitome of a life of a trader. When she arrived at Monroe's, The tables were full with Ivan and the other male waiter busy, but not enough to justify her on the floor. "It's delivery orders. Takeout Friday?" Stephen explained. "I didn't know you did that," she responded, "and I have no idea how to get around this town." Stephen smiled, handing her the keys to his car. GPS is a great technology. He helped her load the food into his car, and she easily found her way to the destination. It was in the area of Zurich where the lakefront properties were massive stone mansions, each with panoramic views of the water below. From within the car, she pressed the gate call button, identified herself, and was admitted. She decided not to park in the circular drive in front of the main house, but to the side in an area clearly used by guests. She removed one tray of food, thinking it was good her father had endowed her with a sense of humility and normalcy, for in no other world would a Chanel-wearing gold trader be making food deliveries. It kept her in perspective, which was helpful, because she nearly dropped her food when the door opened. "Andre?"